Okay, we are recording. Hi, Amy. Good to see you, and hope you did really well on your pants this last weekend. So I'm really excited to hear the results. Thank you for agreeing to talk to me and interview you a little bit about your successes and your work with the Quizlet app.
Of course.
We're really excited to hear about it. We heard a lot from your classmates about some of the successes that you've had using the system. And since we now have it purchased for all PA students, we would love to talk a little bit about what exactly you do and how you do it on Quizlet. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. So let's start with the first question and let's just ask first of all, why Quizlet? How'd you get into it? Why use it? Well, how do you think it helps your education daily?
Yeah, so I started using Quizlet in my undergrad. So at first I was actually handwriting flashcards, and then I stumbled upon Quizlet. And I just noticed that it's a great way. Um, I mean, it doesn't apply to all classes because some stuff like anatomy and classes like that are all about like memorization. So classes like that helped a lot. Um, and so that's how I just kind of stumbled upon it. I realized that flashcards was the best thing for me in undergrad. And once I started PA school, I was like, I'll try Quizlet again, see if it still works for me. And it did. So
That's great. Did you incorporate it into just anatomy, or I hear that you incorporated it into all of like the medicine courses and everything else?
yeah, so I incorporated it into for sure almost all of the class. I think all of the classes in first semester.
Mhm.
I started to do it a little bit in second semester, but second semester I started making more like charts since we were learning about diseases specifically.
I remember seeing those. Yeah.
Yeah, it was easier for me to make charts where I talked about the disease, the like about it, causes, and then like I just made charts of like physical exam and treatment. And so it was easier for me to like block things that way versus Quizlet. Um, but for sure, I used a lot of Quizlet first semester.
Okay. Where do you think that Quizlet really didn't help much in at least in our PA curriculum? I don't know if this will apply to every PA school, but in our curriculum, where did you not find it very useful?
Um, it's harder to use Quizlet for like a big picture thing. So if I'm studying like specific diseases, it's easier for me to like memorize like pathogens because it's like one little thing. But if it's like some type of like story about a patient and things like that, it's kind of harder to use that. It's just more about like first order, what is this?
Knowledge level stuff. So
Mhm.
maybe what you're also probably trying to say also is maybe not great for vignette type
Right.
questions, like
Right.
lots of critical thinking. And so probably rote memorization and recall.
Mhm.
That I'm assuming that's what you're saying. It's really good for recall then.
Yeah, exactly. Although I would say, like, as far as like vignette questions, there would like Miss BG would say, like popcorn terms. I made a lot of like flashcards just being like, I even wrote in some of my flashcards, popcorn, red currant, jelly sputum. So like things like that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Those buzzwords we also call them. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, great to know that. Now, one of the things that I hear about using systems like Quizlet and other flashcard things that are out there are that, people create databases and share them. I know you've done that as well. I've heard pros and cons from students and from faculty, and specifically saying, some of the cons, especially the pros, of course, are that someone else has done the work. The
Mhm.
con with that is that because someone else has done the work, then you're not really learning as much because you didn't create them yourself.
Right.
But then the other thing that I've heard is that sometimes when you use other people's questions or other people's flashcards, they might not always be correct or they might have incorrect information. What do you have to say about that? What's your angle there?
So I created Quizlet because I have a hard time trusting other people. I was also a scribe before PA school. So what I would do in class is as they're teaching, I would make the flashcards while I was in class. So something would come up and I would just like, what is the pathogen that causes this? And then like I would just make the flashcards during class. So it wasn't like a huge time issue where I would have to spend hours at home making it. But yeah, I have a hard time trusting other flashcards.
Yeah.
So that's why I make my own. Something else that you could do, which I can show you on Quizlet, is I you can take other people's flashcards and then create like essentially copy that set. So if I would say like 98% of the flashcards are right and there's like a few that I didn't like the answer or I didn't like how it was worded, I just copy and create my own set off of that and then I can edit it.
Awesome.
And another thing with Quizlet, why I make my own is because I feel like I have my own verbiage. So sometimes when I'm reading other people's Quizlets, I'm like, I don't know what this means. But sometimes for like a question, I won't write out a full question. I'll just write a word and I know to myself what I'm asking myself.
So it's sort of tailored to yourself as well, so that it's your own learning process versus someone else's. I like that. Now, Amy, when you use Quizlet, do you use a basic free account or did you get the pro account and pay additional money for it?
I debated on doing the pro account a lot.
Mhm.
Um, it would have made my life easier, but I found like roundabout ways to still use it well enough for the free account. So I ended up not purchasing it, but I know purchasing it would have made my life easier for sure.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to know because we purchased it for students with this grant money, and so now I know their lives will be easier. And I gave them some videos also of the differences between the free and the paid account and what the paid account offers. I imagine some of those things are the things that would make your life easier that you're discussing. So
Yeah, for sure. There's like a highlight
yes,
section to it. So like highlighting words. And the other huge one for me is I made a lot of flashcards with pictures. So I would like take a photo of like acute otitis media and just be like, what is this? Um, so if you have the purchased account, you can use your own photo. So you can take like photos from the PowerPoint or something like that. But if you don't, if you have the free version, you can only use whatever picture they have in the database. And so also I've come across that if I use like their database, sometimes the pictures aren't always right.
yeah.
So
Okay. That's really good to know. That's very good information. So luckily our students will be able to use their own photos and videos. And I noticed that you can do like multimedia, like tons of
mhm,
stuff in there and make it like really fancy.
right.
So we'll see what people do. I'm going to be very interested to see how creative they get. So yeah, if you don't mind walking us through your process and sharing your screen on your Quizlet account and show us a little bit around of what the platform looks like and how you used it, that would be great.
All right. Can you see the screen?
I can, absolutely.
So this is my Quizlet. The most recent thing that I did make, I struggle with PEDS, so I made my own flashcard for PEDS EOR. But this, for example, is something that somebody else had created. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, can see
Okay.
it.
This is something else that somebody else created,
Mhm.
and I copied it in my own set after it. That way, I can edit some things and like you. For me, I star flashcards that I don't know that I need to like go back and study.
Mhm.
So I would like star and edit those. Let me see if I start anything in the PEDS one. Oops. Um, so yeah, if you can see here
Yeah.
that my flashcards are not my questions aren't full questions. They're just like treatment for this, treatment.
Yeah.
Um, and so and then here on the star, these are questions that I either like repeatedly gotten wrong or it took me a second to get it. And so that way, when I study, I can study all of them or specifically just the starred questions.
Ah, great.
Um, there are other parts so you can learn, write, spell, test. Those are, I seldom use those. Mostly I just use the flashcard.
Okay.
Let me show you one where I used pictures. So I don't have the fancy highlight stuff because I never had the
Yeah.
version, but oh, and also if you see these like locked here,
Mhm.
um, I don't know why I would lock them, but sometimes I would lock them if I wasn't like completely done with them because I didn't want classmates using them
Yeah.
if I was not completed with them.
Yeah.
So that's what the locked means. So if you get on my profile, you can't see this one at all.
Okay, that's fine.
Um, So I use this a lot for, here we go, like, oh, here's Brooke. Brooke used this one. For we would do like pictures for um, pathology. So she would, and I think she had, so she had the plus version. So these are pictures from the actual PowerPoint. Um, so these would just be histology slides or just slides. Let me show you an example of what it looks like. And so you can either shuffle or go in order. So you see this and then you guess it. So you can use the arrow button. So up and down, flip the flashcard, left and right, go to the next one.
Mhm.
So you can see that and you would go through and things like that. So this is, um, like I said, Brooke had the paid version. So you can see that she bolded things and used pictures specifically from the
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
that's another feature for the plus is that you can bold things. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's how we used the pictures. Let me go back. How I used it for um, I used like it for foundations, like those pictures.
Hmm.
Um, best because I know I had a lot of pictures for that. Oh, I kept it separate. So I had a thing that said specifically um, images for ENT. Oh, I even had some challengeable questions. For
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, images for foundations, exams. So these were all images that I pulled that were free from Quizlet,
Okay.
not from the website. So there's like cerumen impaction, things like that. So a lot of the times though, we did have similar photos, but yeah, you couldn't trust all the photos
Hmm.
for sure.
But they
Um,
at least have, it looks like they have a pretty large database of things.
yeah, they do. They had a good amount for sure.
Okay, great. So I imagine with the paid version, you also don't see all these ads and things, probably,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
right? I noticed that. Hey, so as a question here. So if I had to go and find like other bits, so besides, of course, if I had to find you or others, how do you go about in Quizlet finding other people's stuff?
Yeah. So if you just go up here to search, and so you have to know, because a lot of people were trying to find me, and I have mine by my first and middle name.
Ah,
A lot
okay.
of people were trying to put my first and last name and couldn't find me. So for example, we can find, so Lizette, if I just type her name up here,
Was that Lizette Garcia?
mhm,
Okay.
855, I can just search her here. And then, so you can do like sets. So you can search specifically by set, or you could do like search for the user. So
Okay.
here's all Liz's stuff.
Great. So Amy, would it work like if I say I wanted to find cardiology, would it work if I just put in cardiology and then see what it comes up with, or it doesn't work that way?
No, you could. So that's exactly how I found the challenge bowl.
Hmm.
Um, was sets. So I just searched challenge bowl, and so there's PA challenge bowl, things like that. So
Oh,
there was
wow.
that, and it was helpful for like EORs. You can type in general EOR. Maybe. So there's a lot of stuff, but like I said, it's hard because I have a hard time trusting people.
Mhm.
But there are definitely some that are very good and go off like the blueprint for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, something about not trusting people is good too, because a good study practice is to look at those and see and verify that they're correct. And that's also part of the study process, almost like you wrote it yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ex-
All right, cool. Wow, this is great. Anything else that's a bell and whistle that you think is the greatest thing since sliced bread on this Quizlet app?
Really, for me, I think the biggest bonus is the pictures. So, like creating a study set. Um, so you can, yeah, it's telling me if I want to get upgrade it, but you can like drop pictures and stuff like that. So something else that I want to caution people, um, Quizlet will give up like, so so here it'll like try to finish your sentence, which is very cool and can help like speed things along. So if you click that, it'll come here and like give you answers, but also just be careful because these aren't always right either.
Okay, that's really
Um,
good to know. Yeah. So there's an AI here where the system tries to figure it out for you.
exactly.
Well, that's kind of cheating, huh? That's like using the calculator in elementary math, and they're like, you need to do it by hand. I get it. I think that that's a good thing that they're doing to give you some options, but you're right. I think the key, I mean, first of all, it says Serpo instead of
Right.
Cipro, right? So I think
Yeah,
a
you
good
can't
idea is
always
to
trust it.
verify.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, great. And so the drag and drop feature is how students would do. How do you find one of their images if they
So if I do compaction, so I do that, and then I click image here. Oops. It brings it up here. So
Oh, okay.
whatever I typed here, it'll search here. But say I didn't like any of these photos or something like that, I can edit this here. Um,
For some.
but for something else, yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. It looks
Yeah,
pretty
and
easy to use.
exactly. Yeah, you would just click whatever photo you want, and then you can click buildup of earwax, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So here's another question I have for you. So it looks like you've done a lot of work in Quizlet. It was a really great study tool for you. How much time did you spend on this? And was this your main study process? Like, was this, because some people are going to look at this and say, wow, it seems like that's all she did. And she did that a lot, which is great. But how much time would you say is the time commitment to do some of this work?
So it all depends on how fast you are and how you learn. So because, like I said, I was a scribe, so I can type pretty quickly.
Mhm.
I was able to type, finish almost all my flashcards while we were in class learning, because I could just look at the screen and then type my questions as I go along, so that by the time I came home, I would just have to go through my flashcards, and that always just varied on how tired I was. So if I was pretty focused, I could get through flashcards pretty quickly.
Right.
Um, and I would study sets. I would go through it like the whole thing twice and then go through just like the starred questions, which are the ones that I continuously got wrong over and over and over again.
Okay.
Uh, and that usually prepared me pretty well. But like I said, towards the end, I started using like the charts, and those again I would type during class. So for the most part, these are my notes, so this is how I just take notes. So it's literally just studying my notes after class.
Okay. Well, this is a great way to take notes. It's a different way,
Mhm.
and a digital modern way,
Yeah.
but a great way, I feel also. And other people do like the format of using an index card, paper format and written with a pen or pencil, and that still works too. But obviously, there's just so many more bells and whistles and things that you can incorporate here, especially pictures, which I
This
really
is
like.
this is easy on the go too. Like if we went on like a road trip or something, I have the Quizlet app and I would just go through flashcards on my phone.
Okay. So did you find it, one other question about creation of flashcards and things, did you find it easier to create on the computer, on your laptop or desktop, and then look at them on your phone? Or did you also do some creation of things on your phone as well?
Uh, I would do stuff on my phone if I was in a pinch, like if I was on a road trip and I was trying to take notes or something like that. For the most part, it was all on my computer, and then I even studied mostly on my computer.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. That's definitely a process. Well, I think we're near our end of time, and I just want to give you an opportunity to let us know anything else that we didn't cover today, any questions I didn't ask that you feel are important about Quizlet.
Um, no, just biggest thing, just make sure if you're using other people's Quizlets that you double, triple check your work. It's easier if you are using Quizlets like from somebody who had the same class as you because maybe a different professor taught something differently or something like that. Because I would use specific buzzwords that I felt like our teachers would use. That I felt like, oh, they said this word several times. Maybe that word's going to be on the test, and that's what's going to click in my mind. So if you use somebody from another class, maybe they won't have that buzzword in there. I don't know, but it is a great tool, and just like um, repetitive flashcards and using the pictures and stuff is very helpful, especially during first semester in anatomy.
Okay, well, great. We have really covered quite a bit today. It's been a real pleasure to learn about your process. And again, I congratulate you on graduating. What is it now, 2 weeks ago, or
I know,
maybe a week or something? Time flies. Before you know it, you'll be 20 years into a career like
right?
us. So also, I'll be watching for your pants results and as well as all your classmates. I really, really appreciate your time today. I'm going to share this with the new class coming in and also with the classmates that were right behind you because they will now have a Quizlet account as well. And, I'm going to share this on my LinkedIn account as well eventually to share with other PA faculty and, other PA students across the country may see it as well. I think it's a great way to put out your successful story and we'll keep in touch for sure.
Yeah, of course. And if you have any questions or anything about Quizlet, I mean, they'll see from this video that my name was Amy_Marie 17. So they could find me, use my Quizlets, whatever they want
That's
to do.
awesome. I really appreciate that. Amy, have yourself a great day and we will be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.